Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at some everyday carry handheld lights. I've been carrying a handheld light on my person every day for quite a few years now, and I definitely recommend that others do so as well. Whether you're carrying that light just for administrative tasks around your house or possibly your job, or if you're looking at it as more of a self-defense item, something that you might possibly could blind someone with if need be. Either way, I think a handheld light is super important. With all that said, a weapon light is also very important. As good guys, we don't shoot at shadows. We don't shoot at threats that we can't confirm indeed are threats. I believe every defensive firearm and also carry firearm should have a good high quality weapon light. So for me, they're absolutely mandatory and it's not really up for debate. A weapon light definitely does not take the place of a handheld light, vice versa. I think it's important to have both of those on your person at all time, and the situation will dictate which is best to use at which time. Of course, the most important thing is training, so learning how to use your weapon light on your firearm and also learning how to use your handheld light is very important. A lot of these lights have a use in a defensive role, but they also just have a use in a more administrative task just around your house. So maybe you drop your keys and kick them under the couch and you're looking for them, something like that. The first light that we're going to look at is the Streamlight ProTac One Double A. So you're going to notice a trend throughout this video that all the lights that we're going to be looking at are made by Streamlight. I'm definitely a Streamlight fan. Surefire is the best in the business, but I think Streamlight is a good runner-up. I know there's other companies out there like Nightstick and Phoenix and Olight and some others. I'm not a big fan of those. Those companies tend to really push the lumens of their light and they really leave off the candela, which in my opinion is more important. I put a much higher emphasis on candela than I do on lumen. If you don't know the difference between lumen and candela, I definitely would recommend just Google it. I would not be able to explain it as well and as detailed as it probably should be. But in a nutshell, lumens is how bright a light is, and candela is going to measure how bright that light is in one spot. So lumens is going to be more just overall, where candela is going to really be measuring how much throw the light has, basically at longer distances. But moving on, this little light obviously has been carried quite a bit. This light served me very well for the time that I did carry it. It is 115 lumens and it is 890 candela. It also does have a reverse pocket clip, as you can see there, so you can put this light on the bill of a ball cap and make a little headlight. A lot of the lights that we're going to look at today have that feature, and I really like that, and I'll be honest, I use that almost on a daily basis where I work. All in all, this is a super small light. It's definitely not the brightest, but just for something simple and real lightweight, it does a pretty good job. Toward the end of the video, we're going to take every light that we're looking at, and we're going to go outside and also indoors and do some tests and compare the beams and things like that. The next light that we're going to look at is the Streamlight ProTac 2 AAA. So it is very similar to the previous light, the difference being this takes one battery and this one takes two. This is the light that my wife carries every single day, and she really likes it. It's only 130 lumens, so the lumens really isn't that much higher than the other light, but where it does step up is it now has 1230 candela. So much more candela, and that really shows up at distance. It also will show up at closer in ranges if you're using this light to possibly blind someone in a more self-defense role. You'll notice this one does not have the reverse clip, so you can't put this one on your hat. It is about the size of a big ink pen, and that's why my wife likes it. This just slips down in her purse right by her knife, and she basically forgets it's there until she needs it. The next light that we're going to look at is the Streamlight Microstream. So this is a USB rechargeable light. It is 250 lumens, and it does have 1150 candela. So it definitely has more lumens than this light here, but it does have slightly less candela. This light actually does not belong to me. I borrowed it just to do this video, but I do have a little bit of experience with it. I've carried it a little bit, just testing it to get an opinion, and I know quite a few people that have this light. It is definitely a very popular light because of its output versus its size. You'll notice it's basically no bigger than the very first light we looked at. It also does have the reversible pocket clip, so this can be put on the bill of a hat. And all in all, it's just a really good light. All of these lights that I'm showing you have a low and a high mode. Most of them have a strobe mode as well. Streamlight has a 10-tap programming system, so you can cut strobe on and off on all these different lights. I'm not going to go through all those features. I'm basically just going to focus on what the output is on the high setting. But if you want to know any of that more details, you can go over to Streamlight's website. But all in all, this is definitely probably the best light if you're looking for something super lightweight, but yet still has a decent output. While it's not personally my favorite, I definitely could see the attraction to this light and why so many people like it. Next, we're going to look at the Protac 2 AAA. So this is a pretty cool light. I think it's about the same size as a Sharpie. It's very lightweight for what it is. It does run, like it implies, on 2 AA batteries. This is a 250 lumen light, but where it really shines, no pun intended, is it has 4,250 candela. So we have definitely stepped up the candela with this light, and I can guarantee you that will show up when you go outside at distance. And this thing definitely does have a pretty good bit of blinding power at close range. So it runs on just a simple 2 AA batteries, has a good pocket clip. It is not reversible because it is a little bit long, so if you put this one on the bill of your hat, it would probably be heavy. So I'm assuming that's why they didn't give you the pocket clip. Got the nice tail cap there on the end. You've probably already noticed just about all the lights, except for maybe one that I'm going to show you, have a tail cap activation. I much prefer that because it's just more natural to use. In a more stressful situation, I think that's just going to be easier to remember and always go to that tail cap. I do not like some of the lights that have the button up here. I won't name any names, Olight, but that's one of the reasons I don't like some of the Olight products is, one, they don't have enough candela for my taste, and I also don't like the button that I have to kind of fish around for in the dark. I like having that tail cap. But all in all, this is one of my favorite little go-to lights. It's kind of in that in-between category. It's big enough that it definitely has some output. It has lots of throw with that 4,000 plus candela, but it's still not much bigger than a Sharpie, so you can put this thing in your pocket. I haven't carried this light as much as some of the others that I'll show you, but I have carried it a pretty good bit, and I still love it. Next, we're going to look at the Protac 90. So the 90 part of that is this 90-degree turn that it has here. This is a 300 lumen light, and it does have 5,400 candela. So this thing definitely has some throw, definitely has some good output, and it absolutely has some blinding power at moderate ranges, and also will throw a pretty good distance to be able to see at longer ranges as well. It's got a very ergonomic style of button right here on the top. This is the only light that I'm going to show you that does not have a tail cap button, but obviously on this light, this just makes sense. Also has a very flat base here, so if you were using it for a work light, it would stand up. It also has a removable and reversible clip, so you could put this light on the bill of your hat. This light is going to run on one CR123A battery, and it will also run on one AA battery as well. If you do run it on a AA battery, you're going to have a reduced output, so I have always ran it with the 123A battery. I bought this light for a very specific reason. I did carry it on my person for a short time, and it worked excellent for that. But the main reason I had this light is because it will clip on my plate carrier, and I'm using it strictly for a admin light. So when we're down on the range doing some night training, I use this light just for setting up targets and basically just seeing what I'm doing. And it's very convenient. I can clip this right on the molly of my plate carrier, and anytime I can reach up and just get some temporary light, or setting up targets, I can just turn it on and let it shine. With that 300 lumen and over 5,000 candela, I really like the balance of lumens and candela that this little light offers. Next, we have the Protac 1L, One Double A. So this light, just like the one we previously looked at, is a dual fuel light. So it will run on a AA, but to get the maximum output, it will also run on a 123A battery. So as you can tell, I have carried this light for quite a while. This is one of my favorite EDC lights. It does have the reverse pocket clip, which I really like. It also is 350 lumen, and it is 6,400 candela. So once again, this light definitely has some blinding power. Going over that 6,000 candela mark, you can really see it out at distance. And also up close, this thing will, it'll definitely make you wince a little bit. It is super bright if it hits you in the face. All in all, this is definitely one of my favorite EDC lights. I've carried this one for quite a while. It has been abused. It's been submerged in water. I can't tell you how many times, and this thing has always worked well. Hands down, one of my #1 choices. Next, we have somewhat of the new guy on the block. This is the Streamlight Microstream. So this is going to be a USB rechargeable light, just like the Microstream that we looked at earlier. You can definitely see some wear on this light. I have been carrying this light every day for the last few months, and I really like it. It is a 500 lumen light, so it definitely has some good output, but it is only 2,000 candela. So my one con to this light that I will say out of the gate, just like I said in the start of the video, I put more emphasis on candela than I do lumen. That is the only drawback to this light. I wish it had a little bit more candela. It has enough. If you're talking self-defense ranges, you could still blind someone with this, but it definitely lacks in the throw department because of that lower candela. But overall, it is a really good light. It does have the reverse pocket clip. As I mentioned, it is rechargeable, and it has the clicky tail cap like all the other lights. Definitely a good light. I have not had a bit of problem out of it in the few months that I have been carrying it. But my one con would be it is a little bit on the low side for the candela. It still does the job. I'm still carrying it and testing it out, but that is the one negative in my opinion. The next light that we're going to look at isn't necessarily a EDC light, while it absolutely could be. This is the Streamlight ProTac HLX. This one came straight off of one of my rifles. This is a scout style weapon light. Got an Arisaka offset mount there. And I do normally run it with a pressure pad. I just took it off just so I could show you on this video. But this is a 1,000 lumen light, and it is 27,000 candela. So this thing is it's pretty ridiculously bright. Definitely will blind you, even at longer distances. This thing will blind you very much so. But I just wanted to show this light kind of as a control. When we start doing the output test here in a minute, I just wanted to have something that was super bright just to show you what that would look like as well. Next, I'm just going to line each of these lights up just so you can get a little bit of an idea of the size of each light compared to the others. Nothing super scientific, just wanted to give you guys a rough idea. So there you can see all the lights lined up together, starting from the very first one we looked at in order going all the way to the last one we looked at. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to kill the lights, do a little bit of a beam comparison indoors. Then we're going to go outside and compare these lights out there as well. Alright, so first we're going to take a look at these lights inside. So I have killed all the lights and I've got it as dark as I possibly can get it. The first light that we're going to look at is the Protac One Double A. We are going to look at these lights in the exact same order as we did previously on the tabletop. So the deer heads that you see in front of me are approximately 7 yards away. I've got the beam focused on that center head with the rifle in the gun rack. And for a 115 lumen light, this thing definitely does not do bad. Overall, pretty good inside a room this size. The next light will be the Protac 2 AAA. So you can definitely tell an increase there. Although this is only a 130 lumen light, it does have approximately 1,200 candela. And you can already see that candela showing up. It definitely does make a difference. When I shine it on that left deer head there, you can definitely see the intensity. So you can already see how that candela is super important. The next light is the Microstream USB. So this is the little rechargeable light. This one has 250 lumens and it has just over 1,100 candela. So as you can see, I'm shining it directly on that center head. Definitely an improvement over the last two lights overall. It has approximately the same candela as that last light. So right here, I really can't tell that much difference. But I definitely can notice a difference in the lumens because it just lights the whole room up much more. Next, we have the Protac 2 Double A. So this is a 250 lumen light with 4,200 candela. So you can definitely see the intensity increase going to this light. I'm shining it directly on that rifle there, and you can definitely see it very well. Now I'm going to that right deer head, and now to the left. So although this is only a 250 lumen light, having over 4,000 candela like it does really shows up. It's super intense, while at the same time I can still see the entire room. So it does have enough lumens that it's giving me good situational awareness, but it's also giving me light in a very concentrated area, so it gives me that blinding power that I'm looking for. Next, we're going to look at the Protac 90. So this is a 400 lumen light, and I believe it was just over 5,000 candela. This is the one that I keep on my plate carrier. So once again, you can see a slight increase in the lumens and the candela. This is a very good light. It has an excellent balance, in my opinion, of lumens and candela. Shining the light on that center deer head, I can easily see the other two deer heads, but at the same time, I can move the light around and really concentrate that light in one spot if need be. Overall, this is a really good light. Although I haven't actually everyday carried this light that much, it would definitely do well in that role. But I have used it a ton down on the range, doing some night training and things like that. Next, we have the Protac One Double A. So this is a 350 lumen light, and I believe it was 6,400 candela. So you can definitely tell the increase here. I mean, that is super bright. I hope it comes across on camera. It's very bright to the naked eye. Once again, I can really concentrate that light in one spot, but at the same time, I can see the entire room width to width. So it's giving me a good balance of situational awareness, but also a lot of blinding power in one spot if need be. I'm going to shine it on that left-hand cushion there just so you can get an idea a little closer. Now back to the rifle. Overall, this is hands down one of my favorite everyday carry lights. I would really be hard-pressed to pick one light, but it probably would be this one if I had to pick. Next is the Microstream. So this is the light that I'm carrying every single day right now. It is 500 lumen and 2,000 candela. So you definitely can see, compared to that previous light, it's still very bright. It has a lot of lumen. It definitely lights the room up more, but I do not have quite as much of that intensity in one spot. It is a little bit more spread out. So right now I'm shining on that right hand deer head, and then when I transition over to the left one, you can definitely see it does have a hot spot, but it's much wider. And if the room was any bigger than this, or if you were outdoors, it wouldn't do quite as well. Now I'm going down to that cushion down below. Overall, it's still a really good light. Like I said, I am currently carrying this light every single day, and I would not do that if I didn't feel that it was adequate. But I do wish that it had slightly more candela. Now the last one is just for fun. This is the HLX, which is a 1,000 lumen light with 27,000 candela. And this is an excellent weapon light, and this one comes straight off one of my rifles. So obviously you can tell we have a very, very intense hot spot. I'm shining it there on the rifle. But once again, I can still easily see the room width to width with my naked eye. Hopefully that's coming across on camera. This is just a good example of why I put more emphasis on candela than lumen. With a light like this, I've got really high candela, so I can see a long way. I can really blind something if I need to. But at the same time, it's got enough of a spill on each side that I can easily see this entire room. Even if I go all the way to that left-hand deer head, the right deer head is still within the spill, just enough that I can still see it. And now going down to that pillow, you can see just how bright this light is. Not an everyday carry light, but this is absolutely one of my favorite lights to put on a carbine. Alright, so now we're going to do a beam comparison at a little bit longer distance. The first light that we're going to take a look at is the Protac One Double A. The lamppost that you see to your right is approximately 10 yards away. The group of trees that you see straight ahead is approximately 50 yards. And over to the left, I'm not sure if you can pick it up through the camera. I can barely see it with my naked eye. There is a big rock. If I didn't know that rock wasn't already there, I would have no way of being able to tell what it is. The light definitely isn't bright enough for that. But for a little bitty tiny light, this thing does pretty decent, especially if you're looking at like 10 yards and in. Once you start going out a little further, you can see a little, don't get me wrong, but you definitely couldn't ID what you're actually looking at. Next light that we're going to take a look at is the Protac 2 AAA. So there's that group of trees that is 50 yards. I can definitely make it out a lot better. There's the lamppost, approximately 10 yards. And you might be able to start seeing the rock that's out there at 75 yards now. I can definitely see it better with my naked eye, but still not super great. All right, next we're going to look at the Microstream USB. There you can see the trees. There's the lamppost. And I really can't make the rock out that great. This light does have more lumen than the light we just looked at, but it has less candela. So definitely have more situational awareness, but I still can't see that rock very well at all. Even with my naked eye, it just doesn't show up. But, you know, from the trees and definitely at the lamppost, I can see a little bit better with this light. The next light is the Protac One Double A. As you can see with this one, now you can actually see the boulder through the camera. Like I said, that's about 75 yards away. I can see it very good with my naked eye, and I think the camera's seeing it pretty good as well. You definitely can see those trees. At this point, if someone was standing there, I would easily be able to see them. And those trees are a full 50 yards away, and it definitely lights this lamppost up very, very well. So this is a 250 lumen light, but we are breaking just over that 4,000 candela mark, and it definitely shows up out here. I can even see past that rock. There's a wood line right there that's about 100 yards away, and I can see it pretty good as well. Alright, the next light we're going to look at is the Protac 90. And there you can see the trees very, very well. Definitely can see the lamppost, and you can also see the rock as well. I believe this light was just over 5,000 candela, and it is 300 lumen, and it definitely shows up. This light has a very good balance of lumen and candela, in my opinion. And anything from here all the way to that tree line that's about 100 yards, I can definitely see with my naked eye. I wouldn't be able to make it out perfectly at the tree line, but I definitely could tell if something was there. The next light is the Protac One Double A. So this is a 350 lumen light, but it does have over 6,000 candela, and it definitely shows up. You can see that rock very well out there, and I can see that wood line pretty well also. Definitely super bright right here at the lamppost at 10 yards. Once again, this light has a really good balance, in my opinion, of lumen and candela. This is one of my favorite EDC lights for sure. The next light that we're going to look at is the Microstream. So this is a 500 lumen light, but it does only have about 2,000 candela. So you can easily see that group of trees there at about 50 yards. Obviously the lamppost lights up very well. And I don't know if it comes across on camera, but I can easily see that rock out there at 75 yards as well. Not as good as some of the other lights with higher candela, but I can make it out. Overall, this is a really good little EDC light. I've really enjoyed carrying it for the last few months. I will admit, I wish it had a little bit higher candela. I do put a bigger emphasis on candela than I do on lumens. But this one does have enough that it will fill both roles as a EDC light and also as a more defensive light, because it does have enough candela that at moderate ranges you could definitely blind someone temporarily if you needed to. Overall, a really solid choice. Alright, so the last light that we're going to do is definitely not a EDC light. This is a weapon light that came off of one of my rifles, and this is the Protac HLX. So obviously this light is considerably brighter than everything that we just looked at. It is 1,000 lumens, and it has 27,000 candela. So I can easily see the rock. I can see the wood line behind it. Right there's a little road, and down that road goes about 200 yards, and I can easily see all the way to the end of that road. If somebody was standing there, it would be absolutely no problem to see it. So this is obviously a different type of light in a different category, but I just wanted to use it and show a little bit just to kind of give a control or as a reference of how bright some of these lights can be. Well, as you guys can see, some of these lights definitely do perform better than others, but they all do have their place, and they definitely do all have their uses. I really would be hard-pressed to pick one light, but if I absolutely had to, obviously discarding this weapon light here because that's for a different purpose, I would probably pick the 1L One Double A. And the main reason that's driving that decision is the candela. The fact that this light does have over 6,000 candela is a big deal to me. Although I do carry lights like this and I do use them at work a good bit, I use them on low, like you see here, for most of the work use that I would use a light like this for. So I'm really looking at that high output more for a defensive use, and that candela is really what matters when it comes to that. All in all, I like them all. I'm going to keep them all, and I'll probably buy some more in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just drop them below. If you would like to contact me directly for any reason, Instagram is the best place to do so. And as always, thanks for watching. See y'all next time.